Well, hello, everyone. Mac Atkinson here, along with Dolphin Boschman and Cheryl Fitzharris, and we want to welcome you all and thank you for joining us on our second call of Springtime 2024. In this particular call, we're going to talk to you a little bit about Dolphin's spring makeover, cleanse, and detox that she puts everyone through. That's a terrible way to start, Finn, that she allows people to participate in, which I've done before and we'll share with you in a little bit here. But there's going to be some great information we're sharing with you about cleansing and detoxing. And we are going to talk a little bit about Sunrider Foods during the presentation. So like we always do, I just want to remind everybody that none of the information presented in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease. Now, Finn, after that wonderful setup for you, I'm hoping you can jump in and give us a little background on where you're coming from and why this is an important topic that people should be listening to.
Thanks, Mac. Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm Dolphin. And for those of you that are new to our webinars, I am a holistic health practitioner and have been for over 30 years. And my training is quite encompassing, everything from holistic nutrition to body therapies, martial arts and movement therapy, psychotherapy. And I actually dove into cleansing and got interested in this back in my 20s when I was going to school, and people around me were doing it. A lot of you probably remember the master cleanse and, the lemonade cleanse and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so if anything that could go wrong did go wrong for me for many years in trying all these different fads and box kits and all that kind of thing. And so what I discovered is that I knew how important it was to cleanse, but there was a right way and a wrong way. And there was a way of making it, I'd feel really good doing certain things. And like I said, I almost died once. Like like I said, anything that could go wrong went wrong at different times. So this was how I decided that I wanted to help people navigate doing something that was good for them, that they get a positive experience. And as you can see on this poster, I've been doing this for 22 years as a guided process and experience with people. I do it twice a year, but springtime is definitely the real focus time to, if you're ever thinking about doing something like this is the time to do it. So now we're going to talk a bit about what all this is all about. And so let's dive in. Cheryl, please start us off here.
Thanks, Ben. I guess the first question we need to ask is, what does health mean to you? Do you always feel run down? Do you recover quickly? Do you feel tired when you get up in the morning? Do you have a hard time sleeping? Maybe you suffer from allergies. That's a big one, especially these days. Or do you deal with chronic pain? Well, health should include going through the day full of vigor and energy. It should include the ability to walk a mile without a problem. Being physically healthy should include waking up in the morning, feeling refreshed, revived after a full night's sleep. Health should include getting up in the morning, feeling no aches and pains. So, Finn, give us some ideas on how people can evaluate their level of health.
Absolutely. So I apologize. I know this slide is not the easiest to read, but this is where I like to start with people, especially when people come to see me as a client, is I often have people come to me and they say, oh, I'm healthy. I eat good, I'm healthy. And then I have to do a little digging, because in the next breath, they're telling me about the aches and pains they have in their body, which is why they're coming to see me for a treatment. And so I love just that checklist that you just offered us, Cheryl, because if you can't say yes to the majority of those things, that you're sleeping well, you've got good energy, you're not in chronic pain, these are measurements of true wellness or health. And so typically when somebody comes to me and says they're healthy, what they're saying is they're at that 50% level. They have no symptoms of an illness that they know of. And this is a very dangerous place to be in. If that's your benchmark for health, that can be very dangerous, because as we know, there's a lot of things that can percolate in the body and we don't even know that they're happening until it's too late. So I always say, you know, when you were in school, was 50% a passing grade for you? Would you be happy with a 50% grade on a paper? And of course, no. Going to university, all my training, I had to have at least a 60 or 70% to pass my courses. And we want to even be higher than that. So at that 60 and 70% level, this is where our immune system is now starting to function properly. We do wake up, we have that opportunity to feel rested because our organs are resting while we're sleeping. They're not overworking. And then when we wake up, we're feeling refreshed, we're feeling good. At that 80 to 90% level, this is where cells are replacing themselves with good, healthy new cells. They are regening, they are regenerating. We are healing faster. I have to say, in the last few years, I find it extremely concerning with the amount of young clients I have, my 20 and 30-year-old clients, who they will first of all, they'll fall and they'll break a bone, which is pretty crazy, unless, you know, you're doing extreme sports and it's a really major, you know, fall. But, you know, if you're just kind of slipping and falling, as we do here, you know, in Canada on the ice, and you break a bone, to me, that's concerning when you're that young. And then I have found so many of them, they're not healing quickly. So we're looking at months, and those fractures and those bones are not fusing properly. That tells me that yeah, that their cells are not reproducing properly and quickly and efficiently. And then of course you can see, you know, a failing grade is having that fatigue and low energy and pain and sickness and all those kinds of things. So then what happens is we try and self-medicate. So what is the number one reason for us having that low energy, not feeling good, not having that wellness? Well, I would say the number one factor is stress. And so if you can go to the next slide there, Mac, I think stress is our next. Yeah, there we go. So now stress can come in many, many forms, but the bottom line is that there's an old Chinese saying, the mind commands, the body follows, and the chi, or the results, occur. And so everything starts here. And so we have this tendency in this belief that everything we think is true, which is not true. The majority of our thoughts are not true. And so what we want to do is we want to guard the thoughts at the gate of our mind. We want to ask ourselves, is this true or not true? And be able to then have some tools to really train the mind. That would be the first place that I start. And in my cleanse, the classes that we have when we come together, a lot of times people think, oh, we're just going to talk about food or what we can't eat or things like, no. My classes really focus on what you see here on this screen. We focus on the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, our behaviors, and all of that affects the physical, affects the body. And so when we are stressed out, when we are feeling overwhelmed by, you know, thoughts or emotions that we're having, what do? We typically, like I said, we self-medicate in some form or fashion, whether it be something we eat or drink, whether it's drugs, that kind of thing. So as you can see, what are some quick things that we can do to deal with stress? Well, I would say that our breath is the most important part. So we want to release serotonin in the body. And the way we do that is to calm. Serotonin is released when we feel peaceful and calm. And so we want to find ways to bring that into our experience. So meditation and breathing is really key. Getting out into nature. It is very difficult to have a bad day or be stressed when we're in nature. It's just, nature is just such a beautiful healing entity. So getting outside, getting some fresh air, exercising, laughing, these are things that can produce serotonin. But like I said, what are things that make us sick? Those are the things that we're reaching for as kind of as trying to help us feel better in the moment because we're dealing with some sort of stress, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, or behavioral. And so, Mac, I know that, when we talk about being, why are we so sick? I always come but first and foremost to what am I putting in my body? Okay, so we talked about the mental component of, what am I thinking about? But then what do? We eat something that in the moment releases some dopamine, makes us feel a little better, right? So whether it's alcohol, which we think, oh, that's going to calm me down, or, for me, it's potato chips. I love myself some potato chips, right? Oh, I feel so good in the moment. It releases a little burst of dopamine. Now, the problem with dopamine is that just like things, caffeine is another great example. Try to perk yourself up by taking some caffeine. What happens is that first time you get that release of dopamine, ooh, I feel good. But the next time you do the exact same thing, it's not enough. So then you have to up it a little bit more to get that feeling, to get that release of dopamine. So then it just becomes like you need more and more. And so now you're getting more and more out of balance. And that's what happens when we, take pharmaceutical drugs, when we take, recreational drugs, food, alcohol, these kinds of things. And I would say one of the most addictive things that we reach for, and we reach for so often because it's so addictive, is sugar. And Mac, you're going to share with us a little bit about this bad boy.
Oh boy, a favorite topic. Finn, Cheryl, thank you, by the way, for the setup and all of this. It's I always get so much out of this particular call on cleansing because it reminds me of so many things, and sugar is a great one. And there's so many negative impacts. And I mean, it's the obvious stuff. I mean, we all know about weight gain and obesity, the fact that excess sugar can cause type 2 diabetes, ultimately leading to type 1. Our cardiovascular health is impacted by the amount of sugar we eat. Dental issues, the sugar creates the acid that eats your teeth, so not a good thing for you. It increases the risk of certain cancers too, pancreatic and colorectal in particular. Liver health, obviously, it can contribute to fatty liver disease, etc. Energy levels in our mood, fatigue, irritability, mood swings are all tied in with sugar use. And the big one for me, it's the addiction that it really causes, and something you just referenced, Finn, and you're absolutely right. And I don't mean this to be a true confession call. I've shared this before with you folks, but for me, I don't really have an issue with sugar until my trigger kicks in, which for me, it may be potato chips for you. Finn, I wish it was potato chips for me. It's alcohol for me, okay? And I don't mind sharing that with people. When I don't drink very often, but when I do, what I've noticed in my behavior is it becomes really easy to start looking for those temporary things that are going to make me feel good over and above what the alcohol is already doing. So for me, this is a really big issue. And one of the other things I just wanted to share before we move on, and again, folks, we'll be posting a lot of support materials on our 5-element page and so forth to support some of the things we're talking about. But one of the other things I wanted to share was, again, sugar is hidden in so many ways, and it's under so many different names that we may not even know about how much sugar. I could sit here and say, oh, I don't eat much sugar. And still you start looking at the kind of things that you've eaten each day. And a couple of just the tips that I've looked for is any ingredient that ends in the letters OSE, fructose, glucose, sucrose, etc. Those aren't necessarily very good things. So watch out for that. Things that are described as low fat or fat free. Okay, be careful. Look at the ingredients, because what have they done to make it low fat and fat free? Processed foods. I mean, cereals, granola bars, yogurt, sauces, dressings, savory snacks, condiments, beverages. I mean, you name it, the list goes on. There are so many things that sugar's in, and being disguised as something else that we may not even know that it's there. So again, folks, sugar is a huge trigger. It's something that I don't want to say sugar bad, never use, because that just can't be the case. But there are some great alternatives to sugar and some of the sugar things that we find in our foods. And again, we've talked about those in other calls. We'll certainly post more about that on the site as well. But sugar and me do not go well together. So thank you for allowing me to talk a little bit about this particular topic, because it is something that means a lot to me. And again, I look back at our previous calls on this. I look back at the work I did with Jude and Ed when they first did their sugar studies and stuff a couple of years ago. Man, so much of this is coming up right now. And I think my favorite picture is the one right here at the top where we're breaking the chain. So in any case, enough from me about sugar. Time to go and turn it back to Finn. Does this go to you now? No,
Yeah.
it goes to, yeah.
And thank you, Mac. Just to highlight, if you're anything processed, if it's in a can, if it's in a box, if it's in a package, turn that label over and look and see, because sugar is hidden in everything. I had cleansers, like we can have broths during the cleanse, and I had some cleansers buying broths, and we could not find one broth that was not homemade that did not have sugar added to it. And you would think that would be one place where you wouldn't even think it is.
Yeah.
So this is where that it's in everything. So it's you have to be more aware. So we are in liver season. This is all about Chinese medicine. I am trained in Chinese medicine in my practice. And so I definitely look at the body as a whole unit. And just as in Chinese medicine, you don't compartmentalize, everything works together as a whole unit. But at certain times of the year, in different season, it highlights a certain organ system. So now we are in liver gallbladder season. So as you can see on this chart, it lists all the different elements, the different seasons. We're going to just focus on that top line where we're in the wood element, and the color is green for the liver. The flavor is sour. The sense organs is the eyes. Our emotions is anger and frustration. The body parts are our ligaments and tendons. The climate is wind. So what does that mean? Well, this can give us information on how we're doing as far as what's going on internally. So the liver gallbladder system is one of our two major cleansing organs. We just came out of water element, out of winter, which is the kidneys, which is our other cleansing organ. And now we're into our major cleansing organ, which is the liver gallbladder. The liver is considered the general of the body in Chinese medicine. So we think about, what does a general do? The general is able to actually do everything. So because the general has to be able to know every single aspect of his army. And so he has the ability to do that, but really what does the general do? He delegates, or he makes sure that everything's running smoothly. So if your liver is out of balance, I guarantee you all your other organ systems will quickly start to get very disorganized and very out of balance, just as like a well-oiled machine kind of idea. So, but the liver itself, okay, what are some functionalities? Well, we know that it purifies our blood. Everything that we consume, it has to be purified through the liver. Any toxins, any impurities, ideally it sends it to the kidneys, which will then get it out of the body. But sometimes the kidneys was like, I don't know what to do with this. It sends it back to the liver. Then the liver's like, okay, well, we got to store it in a fat cell, or typically the body will store toxins in fat cells. The brain's fat cells, the liver itself is fat cells, or just subcutaneous fat. The liver is also responsible for our metabolism, for filtration, for digestion, for detoxing, protein synthesis, hormone production. It helps maintain glucose levels. So like I said, very, very important, hard-working organ system. And so we want to definitely give it the attention and the nourishment and the the care that it needs. So when it in spring season, this is the time where that particular organ system, it requires a rest. It requires extra attention. And we do this in the spring anyways. We finally, the snow's finally melted here. And what do we have? We have, yucky dead leaves all over the place, brown grass. What do we want to do? We want to rake things up. We want to just get into the yard and the garden and spruce stuff up. And same thing in the body. The body really desires and has that ability this time of year to do an extra purge from, the winter months of just kind of being more grounded and sedate. So we want to give our liver the tools to be able to really give some good house cleaning internally. All right, where are we going next here, Mac? Yes. So here's some warning signs that your liver needs a detox. I personally don't like using the word detox. It's just that is a catch word. People, I have clients that come to me and saying they're looking for a detox. What you're looking for is to nourish that liver so that it can do what it's actually meant to do, and that is to filtrate and purge what the body doesn't need. So as you can see there, these are some signs that your liver needs some extra attention. I would say that the weak digestion, headaches, breakouts in the skin, eczema, like skin, like heat, any kind of heat condition in the skin, that's the liver. Quick to anger, and just hanging on to that. Like, I get pissed off lots, but it's just like, how quickly do I recover? Or do I just let that kind of simmer and keep going with it? That is definitely what we call like liver fire. Another one is not being able to sleep, right? Having insomnia. That is a big one because the liver does most of its house cleaning at night. And so if it's having to do the other stuff like digesting and filtration and all that, it gets mad because it's like, ugh, I got all this extra. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I have to do this. So there's some easy things that even if you decide not to do a formalized cleanse like the Infinite Freedom Cleanse, these are some things that you can start to put into practice right away. Number one, give yourself a break from processed foods. Give yourself a few weeks and just say, no, I'm not going to have anything that comes out of a can or a package or that kind of thing. Going to forego the processed foods, the deep fried foods, things like that. Get yourself hydrating. We're going to talk lots about this in a moment, but lemon water, the liver loves lemon water. So that's an easy thing you can do. Green is the color for liver, so eat some leafy greens. Get into the greens. The dandelions are sprouting right now. Dandelion greens are awesome. Spinach, lettuce, Swiss chard, all your greens, right? Plan and prep your meals ahead of time. So we typically make bad choices when we're hungry and we haven't made a plan. And so we come in and it's just like there's nothing made, or I haven't even decided what I'm going to make. Oh, I'll just grab that bag of chips out of the cupboard, because I'm just starving. And then listen to your body. And this is, again, something that I really focus on in the cleanse, is teaching people how to listen to your body, what are my triggers? How do we deal with that? And I'm so excited. I've got some new stuff again. I always try to bring something new each year, and I'm really excited about some of the stuff that I've been working on this year. And that's all focused on intuition and manifestation and feeling good, feeling happy. So those are some things that we can incorporate right away.
Right on. So I guess, Finn, thank you, by the way, for that incredible amount of information and really, really important stuff. And I guess that kind of brings us to some of the table foods that we could consider during this time. And as part of your, potentially a part of your cleanse too. And I know you have a very specific regimen that you like people to consider and so forth. But when you look at it, what is available to us in the springtime and things that would be associated with the cleanse. I mean, obviously leafy green vegetables, right? They're rich in chlorophyll, antioxidants, fiber, which helps detox the body and supports the liver function. So right there, the cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, things like that, again, support the elimination of toxins from the body. Citrus fruits will boost your immune system and help support liver detoxification. Berries, wonderful, full of free radicals and help with digestive helps. Herbs and spices, again, anti-inflammatory with detoxifying properties. Green tea, where have we talked about green tea before? Obviously, we have some of the best in the world at our disposal. Healthy fats can, help in terms of detoxification. Probiotic foods, I mean, Vitadophilus is a great one to consider, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Support easy for me to say, gut health and digestion during any kind of program that we have going on with the cleanse. You mentioned hydration before, flushing our system, keeping ourselves hydrated, flushing out all those toxins and impurities that our body's going to be releasing during the cleanse. And obviously any kind of whole grains, brown rice, oats, barley, refined grains, high in fiber and nutrients and great for our digestion as well. So there's a lot of great things in terms of the food. And I guess one last comment I'd like to make before we move on is the idea of perhaps, considering kind of like we talked in our last call about spring, look at your local farmers markets. I mean, there's over 8,000 farmers markets here in the United States. I know that's much more when we expand it to Canada as well. And, it's a great way in terms of supporting local community, number one, but also finding things that are local to your area that you should be consuming where you're living. And last but not least, I mean, where does the money go? When you buy at Kroger's or Safeway or whatever the brand store is, the farmer is getting maybe 17 cents on the dollar. When you buy from a farmer's market, we're truly supporting local because the farmer gets somewhere 90 plus cents on the dollar with that. So again, there's a lot of great things from the farmer's market that we can be incorporating to really help us during the season and to support what Finn is talking about with the cleanse. With that said, Cheryl, your favorite topic, I would love hearing from you on this. Walk us through the philosophy of regeneration.
Great. Thanks, Mac. That's awesome. And Finn, I just love hearing all those interesting things you have in your head. Thank you for sharing with us. For me, back 36 years ago, the reason I chose Sunrider is because for 42 years, they created a family-based business and it's debt-free. We're in 50 countries. And they create herbal products that are 100% natural and concentrated and products that we can really feel proud of and feel safe sharing because the products are safe. And the things that set Sunrider apart are, of course, the owner's expertise. And our owners, which the doctors Chen and their 5 children, they are experts in the field. So they are doctors, pharmacists, organic chemists, trusted experts in traditional Chinese medicine and advanced science. So you have the actual owners of the company. They oversee every part of the process, the research, the development, the formulation, the manufacturing of all of our products. So to me, that's key. And then secondly, we have a blueprint that all of our products, which we have over 400, are created by, and that's the philosophy of regeneration. And when I heard this back 36 years ago, I was totally convinced Sunrider was for me because it makes sense. And there's 4 main principles to the philosophy of regeneration. The first one is we need to take responsibility for our health, for our own health. We can't pass it on to somebody else. We know ourselves best if we listen to the body. Second, we need clean foods, not chemicals. Our products are made with nutrient-rich whole foods, not synthetic vitamins or GMOs or artificial ingredients. And that's important because our body has the same structure as food and it recognizes it and can utilize it. And third, our body needs a variety. There is no one perfect food or ingredient. And so if you have too much of something or too little, it can put our body out of balance. And our foods are a wide variety of whole food concentrated herbs. And fourth, you need to be leaders in herbal nutrition, and our experts are. And most companies out there, they outsource the manufacturing, and we control every aspect. We personally ensure the potency, the purity, the integrity, and safety. And Sunrider is the expert in the art of herbal science. And that's what sets us apart. That's why I love it. And that's why I will for the next 36 years. So Finn, I'm just going to talk a little bit about our fruit and vegetable rinse. And Mac, those vegetables look great, but let me tell you the way they would even be better. And that's with our fruit and vegetable rinse. Comes in 2 sizes. So you can take it with you when you travel. And, you know, when you're in Sunrider, you realize that our products are so versatile. So even though this is a fruit and vegetable rinse and does many things with our fruits and vegetables, it's also good for a lot of other things. So what does it do? It washes away the dirt, the pesticides, the waxy coatings, other contaminants. It's natural, it's pH balanced to the skin, and it's made with eco-friendly surfactants from corn and coconut. So that's quite amazing because most anything else out there that you look at has some kind of chemicals. It's super concentrated, biodegradable, and it cleans the fruits, vegetables in minutes, and you can wash your rice, your fish, your chicken, your meat. It's just great for anything. It's safe for the whole family, safe for the environment. So you always have peace of mind. And while you're enjoying your cleaner, brighter, tastier produce, it will put a sun smile on your face.
That's great.
Finn, back to you.
Well, talking about, you were talking about how being leaders in the industry and how Sunrider has been the leaders. I mean, they were the first to create a fruit and veggie rinse on the market, and people have tried to copy it, but they have yet to be able to copy the fact that it kills pesticides and bacteria and all things, so we can feel safe no matter what. And Mac, you talked about green tea and so we have 2 beverages, fortified beverages that are our signature beverages in Sunrider, and these are beverages that nourish our cleansing organs that we can drink throughout the year. Now, definitely during the cleanse, we definitely drink lots of this, but I know we all 3 drink lots of this every day throughout the day. And these 2 formulas are actually about 3,000 years old. They were created by Shaolin monks, martial artists that needed to be able to sit and have clarity in meditation, be able to have great focus while they were, doing their martial arts. And I actually heard just recently that the original formulas actually combined the ingredients from both Fortune and Cali. And Mac, you as a martial artist, you've done that. I know you call it temple tea, where you've combined these 2. But Dr. Chan separated them, I think, just for ease and for just more of our modern day lifestyle. But even though they taste and look like tea, it's important to understand that in Chinese medicine and in herbology, I remember doing, in my herbology classes, having to, cook up all these herbs, and they just reeked. I always say Dr. Chan's biggest genius has been able to make this stuff taste good, because some of those herbs are just, oh. But it's actually more like soup as far as the ingredients. So the Chinese, like I even have this Chinese recipe book, and it's called, herbs and broths and soups. And I'm reading through it, and they are the exact same ingredients that are in a lot of our formulas, including Fortune and Cali. So I just really think that's really neat. So the Cali nourishes our kidneys and the elimination system. It cleanses it at a cell level. It can even bind to heavy metals and toxins. So again, if you're wanting a really deep but gentle Detox, Cali is wonderful. It also helps with mental clarity. So I have people that use this instead of caffeine to, you know, stay awake, stay alert. And any of the green or white teas ingredients that are in our products, Dr. Chen uses water and steam filtration to take out almost all the caffeine. So it's very negligible. I give this to young, we've even given, to babies. So it's very safe for any age. You don't have to worry about the caffeine or anything like that. Fortune Delight nourishes our liver. And this one is a powder. So this one actually looks and tastes a little more like iced tea. And again, lots of yummy flavors and nourishes the liver. It actually works on fat metabolism because that's the liver's main one of its main jobs. And so it actually will bind to fat. And we've, Dr. Chen is, we've heard him tell stories about how, he'll put oil on his hand and he'd wash his hands in a bowl of Fortune Delight just to show how the herbs bind to those fats and eliminates it through the colon and out of the body. So these are whole food beverages. They are very alkaline. And that was another thing. If we want to decrease inflammation, we want to increase the alkaline in our bodies. So all those fruits and veggies that Mac was talking about, they are rich in water. There are lots of water content. They're very alkaline. Same with these beverages, very alkaline based. So we want, we don't want, you want a little bit of acid, but not too much. We want the majority of our diet to be in that alkaline level, and Sunrider provides that. All right, what's the next one we got here?
Next one comes back to, again, one of our favorite products, Quinary, and the 5 systems that it supports. And Finn, I know we've talked about Quinary a lot. You had a previous slide where we showed Quinary and how it breaks down between the various systems, the seasons, et cetera. And I just want to quickly touch on the fact that, yes, Quinary is the whole, if you will. It supports all 5 key systems of the body. But in your previous conversation with us, you were referencing the fact that sometimes a system will get out of balance for whatever reason. And so we might want to supplement or nourish a particular system more in a given season or time of the year whenever we're feeling that impact. And you already referenced the fact that we're in the season of the springtime and the wood element, which is all about the immune system. And that's where alpha-20C, as one of the components of Quinary, comes into play. We were previously in the earth element, where it was all about the digestive system support, which is where Assimilate comes into play. We're going to be heading into the fire season in summertime, which is all about the endocrine system, and where Primigans can support us with nourishing our endocrine system. Metal, respiratory system, supporting our lungs, et cetera. And again, Conco is one of my favorite products. I consume it all year long. It's just something that I know my body needs. And without any real evidence to support it, I listen to my body and it tells me Quinary is something I want to be taking every single day. So that's what I do. Then you mentioned just coming out of the water element, which was true in the circulatory system, which was all about life stream. So the real key thing to understand, folks, is Quinary is the whole, and each of these 5 components make up the Quinary. And what's really, really important to remember, though, is all of these formulas are made with wood, earth, fire, metal, and water element herbs to support the season and the system that they are designed to support. Incredible, incredible insight from Drs. Chen and Sunrider. And I feel so blessed to have these products at our disposal. So that's me. Now I think we're going to turn it back to Finn, right? Coming back to you on Evergreen, yeah?
So with Callie and Fortune, we had our soup. With Quinary, we had our salad. I always compare Quinary to, a big salad with 50 different vegetables in it, right? So you got your soup, salad. And now we've got evergreens. So a lot of people might be familiar with liquid chlorophyll, and which is liquid sunshine. It's what, how plants create photosynthesis. They just absorb the sunshine into, and that's what makes the plant look green. And so this is, it's a superfood for the liver. It is such a great, great food for the liver. What sets Sunrider's chlorophyll apart from, I would say, every other chlorophyll, I've yet to find one that is like this one. And that is because Dr. Chen keeps the chlorophyll in a fat soluble state. What does that mean? It means that when you mix it in water and consume it, the liver will actually recognize it because the liver digests and processes fat. And so it then can be accessed into the liver at a deeper, greater level than if the chlorophyll is water soluble, which is what we find mostly in health food stores, is a water soluble chlorophyll. And the problem with mixing that, like having a water chlorophyll, mixing it with water, is it's already then oxidizing, which means it's already breaking down. So as soon as you'll see that this vial is in a dark brown vial so that sunlight can't get to it. We don't want light or air or water to access it until we're ready to consume it, because all those things will oxidize or break it down. So when I open that vial, I'm mixing it with some water or my Fortune Delight or whatever, and then I'm drinking it throughout the day. If I don't put the whole vial in, I'll cap it and then I'll put it in the fridge. It's pretty good for, the next day. But the longer you leave it, of course, you just have more risk of oxidation. But what I notice with Evergreen is energy, especially for us ladies that tend to be more susceptible to anemia. So chlorophyll helps to build blood. It is this almost the same molecular structure as our red blood cells, as our hemoglobin. So it's just the perfect food to help build red blood and to create more iron in the body, which gives us energy. So I can feel it. If I go a few days without having some Evergreen, I definitely start to feel my energy levels drop. And I don't drink coffee or have sugary drinks. So then that's my benchmark. I know, oh, okay, I need my Evergreen to bring me back up. And you don't get this spike like you do with caffeine. You just get this, I feel alive, I feel good, I feel ready to go. So I love it. It tastes good, and I'm so happy we just got it back in Canada. So we are ready to go. Spirulina, Sunrider makes the best one. Mac, tell us about
Yeah, a little
spirulina.
bit. Hard act to follow after the Evergreen description there, Finn. One of my favorite products too. I use that every day and happy to see it back in inventory now here in the US as well. It's funny, we were just posting this week with our Hungarian group about Evergreen, and the key thing we all honed in on was exactly what you talked about, and that was the fat soluble aspect and the formulation expertise, which Cheryl, you referenced very well in the philosophy of regeneration side. That's something that I think a lot of people don't appreciate, how important that expertise is in being able to look at the formulation of something like Evergreen and make it so the body can actually assimilate and use it properly. Incredible. Thank you, Dr. Chen. Spirulina, another one of those original superfoods, okay? This is something else that's in my daily Sunrider regimen. It's a great product. Heck, it's filled with plant-based nutrients. It is a complete protein. It has omega-3 fatty acids, essential vitamins and minerals. Personally, I've noticed a couple of things with it. First of all, it does a lot of the same things that Evergreen does in terms of oxygenating the blood, etc. But I've noticed it really is improved the quality of my fingernails, okay, hair growth, etc. There's a lot of things that come with spirulina when you can start taking it regularly. So again, another one of those green wood element superfoods to consider all times of the year, but especially right now. Cheryl, I think we're back to you now.
Oh, that was so great. Both of you guys. I learned so much every single time. Thank you so much. Well, Vitadophilus, another one of Dr. Chen's awesome creations. I absolutely love it. I have it in the morning and I have it at night. I like eating it right out of the package because it tastes so yummy. And, Dr. Chen is brilliant because there isn't another probiotic on the market that I know of that is coated with apopectin Dr. Chen and his brilliance realized that in formulating his 20 million live cultural bacteria, he needed a way to protect it, to get it to where it needed to go in the body. So he figured out that by coating it with apopectin, our body gets all 20 million, where when you eat other cultures, it's destroyed as it's going through the acid in the stomach. So anyway, totally brilliant. Anyway, it's really fast acting. Has 20 million live cultural bacteria to balance the intestinal flora. It supports your entire immune system. That, you know, a lot of people don't realize how important probiotics are for the immune system. It helps displace or decrease non-beneficial microorganisms, some of which can lead to fermentation, thereby causing bloating, gas, or rob the body of necessary nutrients. And the beneficial bacteria embeds itself in the walls of the intestines. The protective apopectin coating insulates the probiotic from the harsh stomach environment for maximum efficiency. It's absolutely delicious. You can eat it right out of the package, sprinkle it on. I love dipping my apples in it as well. As long as you get it in your body, it's going to make you feel fantastic. And children love it too because it tastes so yummy. So anyway, that's a little bit about our Vitadophilus. And Finn, it's back to you.
Yep, I'm going to advance the slide right here. Cheryl, thank you for that on the Vitadophilus. You know, Vitadophilus is the first food I put in my stomach every single day. I think it's kind of the same for you guys too. It's just a great way to kind of make everything be in balance afterwards. So good stuff. Thank you, Cheryl. Finn.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, as far as the Infinite Freedom Cleanse, I don't just focus on the physical. What we put into our body absolutely plays a part in how we feel, and you know, you can't separate these four entities, right? We are a whole being. So I did an experiment many years ago where I just what I called the redneck diet, and all I ate was processed foods, drank booze, ate fast food, and I did that for about a week. And I could not believe, not only did my body feel awful, like I was, you know, guts were hurting and headache, but also just how depressed I felt. I had no energy. And so it was a really good experiment for me to do, because I always have lots of energy, and it's because of how first of all, what I put into my body. And then that can then help me think better. It can help my emotions better. But it's kind of like chicken and egg. We can go back and forth. So if I want to feel better, yeah, I want to eat good food and you know, hydrate and do all those good things. But also, I have tools to help people navigate, you know, mental stresses, emotional stresses, because sometimes when we work on that, then we just naturally do want to turn towards things that are better for us, whether it's, you know, better food and things like that. And, you know, Cheryl, I know what brought you to Sunrider was such a traumatic, you know, you were in a state of grief. And what I always think is so amazing is that you started eating the foods, the Sunrider foods, because your brother was very concerned for you. And so you just did it, I think, because, you know, for him. But it was those foods that regenerated your cells that eventually got you to a place where you could get out of the fog and start to feel like you wanted to live again. And so there's so much power in, yes, in eating well, but in foods that are formulated to regenerate. And there is nothing like that on the planet like Sunrider. And that is because of the Chens and just their commitment to bringing these ancient formulas to the modern world and doing the due diligence of making sure that they are, concentrated and clean and properly formulated, and your cells start to respond. And every single person that I know that I've brought to, introduce Sunrider to, whether it's family members, clients, friends, it changes the way we think and we feel when we start to nourish our cells in the proper way. And so that's what's so beautiful about taking some time each year to, just get out of our habits. Even for those of us that eat Sunrider every day, it's good to get out of just some general habits to kind of refresh and remember, oh yeah, I can even feel better, or yeah, I need to evaluate this part in my life at this time. And so there's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of evaluation that goes on in this 10-day process. So I really want to invite everyone, if you're interested, to please reach out to me. I know Mac will, my information is here. You can definitely reach out to whoever shared this video with you, and if you have any questions. But I want to finish off by just asking Cheryl and Mac, because you both have done the Infinite Freedom Cleanse before, just to give some testimony or insight onto, even as a Sunrider who eats it every day, why would you do this?
Cheryl, ladies first.
Well, thank you so much. Well, the reason I chose to, first of all, is because I wanted to see your cleanse, Finn. I wanted to see what you did, because listening to you over the years, the amount of knowledge you have about the body and health, I just figured, wow, I can learn something here. So, and it was fun. You make it fun. And the group that's there shares things, and I don't know, it just creates more of a community, your cleanse. And the support is always there. It's really gentle on the body. And because I am a Sunrider, I love that you use the Sunrider foods, right? And it makes a huge difference, because like you, I used to do cleanses and oh my gosh, I could never get through them. But your cleanse, it's easy and you get the results. And so I suggest to anybody, it's a great way to start a season. And then when you start incorporating Sunrider into it, it's a winning streak for everybody.
Excellent. I knew I shouldn't have let you go first, Cheryl. No, I'm only kidding. Then a lot similar for me. I was curious about what the cleanse was all about too, having never gone through that before. So it was a real kind of first time experience for me. When I think back to it, and again, Cheryl, forgive me for kind of paraphrasing some of what you just said too, but I looked at it similarly. It was a great reset in terms of health. Okay. And that's kind of the way I look at it, check the box, reset, health, springtime. Yes, this is it. The supportive community that you mentioned, Cheryl, I certainly felt as well. One of the other things that I loved about the course was that most of your presentations were done virtually, so I don't have to be in Saskatchewan to attend your cleanse. I can be in Tucson, Arizona and still participate. So it was great as far as that was concerned. And Cheryl, you said it too, but I mean, the volume of information that you provide in these cleanses, I don't know how you come up with all the stuff in, because there's just so much that you provide to us in terms of value, okay, in terms of our time investment with you in this. What else? I made a couple little notes here just so I didn't forget anything. Tons of information. The great sharing of experiences. The group is so it's not just a supportive community, but it's a sharing community. We know we're in a safe environment, okay? So we can talk to each other, and I mean really share, which is, it makes it so much better than just being afraid to kind of share with the group, because you're not getting the answers you want that way, So I love that aspect of it. And I guess kind of lastly here is the boost it gave me, not only in clarity, but in energy as well coming out of it. So again, those are just 6 or 7 of my key highlights. So I recommend it to everybody, certainly. It's a great experience to go through, especially if you've never done it before. And if you have, you're going to want to come back and do it again. So anyway, thank you, Finn and Cheryl, for sharing the way both of you did today. Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Yeah, thank you. You both raised like key points. One, the community. So I did this because I was doing this, I was cleansing by myself for so long, and I craved that community, and it's so much funner to do it with a group. And it doesn't matter how many times you do it, you at times throughout the cleanse, you need that support. You go through highs and lows, doesn't matter how many times, because
Mhm.
your body is doing its thing, right? So the community, I have people that are come with every year, like 20 years, they're there, right? We can't wait to get together again and share this experience together. Um, Two things that I can say to people if you're on the fence or you're not sure is the feedback that I get from every single new person that ever does it is number one, it's way easier than I thought it was going to be. And two, I can't believe how much energy I have at during and afterwards. So, if you're worried you can't do it, or, I trust me, it's easy. We have all kinds of modifications. And like Cheryl said, the Sunrider foods make it easy. So you don't have to necessarily, I've had people in the past do my cleanse without the Sunrider foods, but I can tell you that you don't get the same results. And even they will notice that, because people that are sharing and they're like, I'm not having that same kind of result. So, it's budget wise, I keep it very low just so that people can have this experience. And so there's just no excuse. I really encourage everyone to, if not joining us, then you take some of the ideas that you got from this webinar and implement them for the spring season.
Excellent. Thank you, Dolphin. Thank you, Cheryl. Really appreciate you guys as always. I guess with that, thank you everyone for joining us today. We appreciate you. And for more information, we'll be posting Finn's flyer. Get in touch with her. She can give you all the details, but looking forward to it coming up not too long from now. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.